I'm ruined, body and soul, the Navajo woman whispered, her voice shattered like glass. Owen Beckett stared at the broken woman huddled against the cottonwood tree, bruised, bloodied, barely alive, and saw himself. 3 years ago, his family burned to death while he chased silver instead of protecting them. He'd been dying slowly ever since, drowning in guilt and whiskey. But looking at her empty eyes, hearing that voice stripped of all hope, something cracked inside him. He'd failed his wife and daughter. He wouldn't fail again. He didn't know if saving her would redeem him, but maybe 2 broken souls could build something whole from the ruins. Owen Beckett's hands trembled as he poured his morning coffee at the mining camp outside Silver City. Not from the cold New Mexico dawn, but from the nightmare that had woken him, the same one that haunted him for 3 years. His wife Sarah's face, his daughter Emma calling for him. The fire consuming their homestead while he was 20 miles away, chasing a silver vein that never paid out. By the time he'd returned, there were only ashes and graves to dig. At 45, Owen had become a ghost among men. He worked his small claim mechanically, barely speaking to other prospectors, existing rather than living. The silver he found went mostly to whiskey, though even that couldn't silence the screaming in his head. He was checking his sluice box when he heard the sound, a whimper, animal-like, coming from the cottonwoods near the creek. His first thought was injured coyote, but something made him investigate. She was huddled against a tree trunk, barely conscious. A Navajo woman, perhaps 30 years old, wearing a torn dress that had once been buckskin. Blood stained her clothing. Her face was bruised, purple and yellow, her lip split. But it was her eyes that stopped Owen cold. They held the same emptiness he saw in his mirror every morning. "Easy," he said softly, approaching like she might bolt. "I won't hurt you." She flinched violently at his voice, curling tighter. Owen noticed the rope burns on her wrists, the bruises around her throat. He didn't need details to understand what had happened. Prospectors, cowboys, soldiers, plenty of men in this territory saw Navajo women as less than human. His stomach churned with rage and guilt. He'd failed to protect his own family. He wouldn't fail again. "I have food," he said quietly. "Water, medicine. Please, let me help." She looked at him with those dead eyes and whispered in heavily accented English, "Why, I am nothing, ruined, destroyed." Her voice cracked. "Body and soul." Owen's throat tightened. He recognized that voice, the voice of someone who'd lost everything, including reasons to live. "You're wrong," he said simply. "And I'm going to prove it." Owen carried her to his camp, feeling how light she was, how her body tensed with every touch despite her weakness. He set her gently on his bedroll inside his canvas tent, giving her space, showing empty hands. "My name's Owen," he said, keeping his voice soft. "I'm going to get water and bandages. I'll be right outside. You're safe here." Over the following days, Owen tended her wounds with awkward gentleness. He'd treated injuries before, mining accidents, bar fights, but this felt different. Each bruise he cleaned represented a choice to keep going, to not give up on someone the world had discarded. She said little at first, barely ate, flinched at sudden movements. On the 3rd evening, she finally spoke her name, Desba. It meant "goes to war" in Navajo, though she whispered it like an accusation against herself. "Pretty name," Owen said, stirring the stew over his fire. "It was my grandmother's name," Desba said quietly. "She would be ashamed of what I have become." "You survived," Owen said firmly. "That takes more strength than dying. Your grandmother would understand that." Desba's eyes flashed with sudden anger, the first emotion beyond emptiness. "You know nothing of me, of what they did, what they took. I am filth, damaged beyond repair. No Navajo man will have me now. My family—" Her voice broke. "My family cannot take me back. I bring them shame." Owen set down his spoon, choosing words carefully. 3 years ago, my wife and daughter burned to death in our home. I was supposed to be there. I was supposed to protect them." He met her eyes. "I failed, and I've been trying to drink myself to death ever since, because I believed I didn't deserve to live." Desba stared at him, seeing him truly for the first time. "You asked why I help you," Owen continued. "Because maybe if I can save one person, maybe if I can do one thing right, it'll balance the scales. Maybe we're both broken, but broken things can still work. They just work different." Silence stretched between them, filled with the crackle of fire and cricket song. "I do not know how to be anything but ruined," Desba whispered. "Neither do I," Owen admitted. "So maybe we figure it out together." The days turned to weeks. Desba's physical wounds healed faster than the invisible ones. She moved around camp like a ghost at first, helping with small tasks, but always poised to flee. Owen gave her space while maintaining steady presence, proof that he would stay, that he wouldn't abandon or hurt her. Slowly, she began to speak. In fragments, never the full story, she shared pieces of her nightmare. Raiders who'd attacked her village, being taken, the things that followed. Owen listened without judgment, his own rage carefully controlled. "The worst part," she said one evening, grinding corn for bread, "is that I am alive. I should have fought harder, died with honor." "That's not how honor works," Owen said, repairing a harness. "You survived. That took courage those men who hurt you will never have. My people will not see it that way. Then your people are wrong." Owen's voice was gentle but firm. "And I'll tell them that myself if I have to." Desba looked up, surprised. "You would speak for me? A white man defending a Navajo woman to her own tribe. I'd speak for what's right." Owen met her eyes. "Besides, I'm not just any white man anymore. I'm the man who refuses to let you believe their lies about yourself." Something shifted in her expression. Not quite hope, but maybe the possibility of hope. Owen shared his own demons too. How he'd valued silver over family. How guilt tasted like ash in his mouth every morning. How he'd planned to work until his heart gave out because living felt like betraying the dead. "We are both ghosts," Desba observed. "Maybe," Owen said. "Or maybe we're just people who forgot how to be alive. Maybe we can remember together." That night, for the first time, Desba smiled, small, fragile but real. Owen felt something crack in his chest, something that had been frozen for 3 years. Neither noticed they'd started saying "we" instead of "I." The peace shattered when 3 prospectors rode into camp looking for supplies. Owen recognized 2 from Silver City, rough men with mean reputations. Their eyes fixed on Desba immediately. "Well, well," one sneered, "Beckett's got himself a squaw. Didn't figure you for the type." Owen stepped between them and Desba, his hand near his revolver. "State your business or ride on." "We're just admiring your property," the largest man said, grinning. "Heard there was a Navajo woman running around these parts. Some boys have been looking for her. Seems she owes them some time, if you catch my meaning." Desba went rigid behind Owen. He felt her terror like physical force. "She's under my protection," Owen said, his voice deadly calm. "And unless you want to find out how serious I am about that, you'll leave. Now." The prospectors exchanged glances, 3 against 1. But something in Owen's eyes, the look of a man with nothing left to lose, made them hesitate. "This ain't over," the leader spat. After they left, Desba was shaking. "You should not have done that. They will come back with more men. They will kill you. Let them try." Owen checked his rifle. "I didn't save you just to hand you over to animals." "You do not understand." Desba's voice rose. "I am not worth dying for. I am nothing, ruined. Why can you not see that?" "Because it's a lie." Owen grabbed her shoulders, forcing her to meet his eyes. "You are Desba. You survived hell. You're learning to smile again. You grind corn and mend my shirts, and you exist, which is more than those bastards deserve. You are worth everything." Tears streamed down her face. I do not know how to believe that. Then let me believe it for both of us until you can. Owen's voice softened. That's what we do. We carry each other. For the first time since the attack, Desba let herself be held. She sobbed against Owen's chest while he stood like a mountain, steady and unbreaking. I'm afraid, she whispered. Me too, Owen admitted, but we're afraid together. That makes us stronger. The prospectors returned the next day with 5 more men, but they found an empty camp. Owen and Desba had traveled through the night to Navajo territory, to a small village where Desba's uncle lived. Owen rode in openly, hands visible, Desba beside him. The reception was cold. Desba's uncle, a stern elder named Hastian, spoke in rapid Navajo. Owen didn't need translation to understand the rejection in his tone. He says, I cannot return, Desba translated, her voice hollow. I bring dishonor to the family. The men who took me were animals, Owen interrupted in English, looking directly at Hastian. And your niece is a survivor, not a criminal. Hastian's eyes narrowed. Desba translated Owen's words. Owen continued, Desba translating haltingly, I lost my family. I failed them. I know that shame, but I learned something. The dead don't want our shame. They want us to live, to honor them by becoming better. He paused. Desba is better. She's stronger than anyone who hurt her. If you can't see that, you're blind. An old woman stepped forward, speaking in Navajo. Desba gasped softly. My grandmother's sister. She says a man who sees truth in darkness has wisdom. She says if you vouch for me, perhaps the family should reconsider. Hastian studied Owen for a long moment, then spoke. He asks what your intention is, Desba said quietly. Toward me. Owen looked at Desba, seeing not the broken woman he'd found, but the person she was becoming. To give her a choice. To build a life where she decides her worth, not the men who hurt her. If she wants to stay with her people, I'll ensure safe passage back whenever she wants. If she wants to build something new, he swallowed hard, then I'd be honored to build it with her. Desba's eyes widened. Owen had never spoken so directly about the future before. The elder woman spoke again, longer this time. Desba translated, tears flowing. She says redemption is not given by others. It is earned through living with honor. She says we both carry heavy stones. Perhaps together the weight is less. Huston finally nodded, speaking in careful English. You may camp near village. We watch. We see if words match actions. Over the following months, Owen proved himself. He helped with harvests, defended against raiders, showed respect for Navajo ways. Desba flourished, reconnecting with her culture while building something new. One evening, watching the sunset paint the mesas gold, Desba spoke. I do not feel ruined anymore. Owen smiled. Good, because you never were. We are still broken, she said. Yeah, Owen agreed, but we're broken together, and somehow that makes us whole. Desba took his hand, a gesture that had taken months to feel safe. The prospector who found a Navajo woman in the trees, she said softly. He saved her life. No, Owen corrected gently. She saved his. He was dying long before he found her. She reminded him that living was worth the pain. Neither had erased their pasts. Owen still carried guilt for his family. Desba still had nightmares. But they'd learned that redemption wasn't about forgetting or being forgiven. It was about choosing every day to build something better from the ruins. Two broken souls finding second chances in each other's courage to keep breathing, and that, they discovered, was more than enough.